Okay, so we're getting ready to pin on the straps. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I make sure my bag is right side out. And I'm going to fold it in half so that the side seams match up. And I'm going to put a pin in there just so that they will hold. And because it's kind of thick up here at the top, I'm going to put my pin down here a little bit further. Okay, now our bag is in half with the center front here and the center back there. Then I'm going to take some kind of marking that's not permanent, so you can't use a regular pencil for this or ink. You can either use the blue chalk pencil or you can use the white chalk pencil. And you're just going to make a little mark at that crease to show the center front. You can also use the tailor's chalk. All right? I'm only going to mark the center front because we're going to use where the front straps are to set up where the back straps are going to be. Okay? So now I'm going to lay it out flat, and I need a seam gauge to do this next bit. And I want to set this at 2.5 inches. Okay, so 2.5 inches, and I want to match that up with the center front mark, and I'm going to make a chalk mark there. Okay, then I'm going to flip it around, use again the 2.5 inches, mark, line it up with the center, and make another chalk mark. Right? This is actually going to be the center of our strap. Our strap is about 1 inch wide, so we're going to put this mark in the middle of our strap as we line it up. Okay, so you want to make sure as you put this on that it's not twisted at all. And what I'm going to do is, still with my bag right side out, I'm going to reach inside and I'm going to slide my strap in, and when I flip this over, I want the bottom part of my strap to be about 1/4 of an inch, oh, maybe about 1/2 of an inch below the bottom, okay? And if I measure that, I'm pretty close, all right? So about 1/2 of an inch. Hold my fingers there, and I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to put 2 pins to hold this strap in place. And the reason why I'm doing 2 is if I only put in 1, it'll tend to wiggle back and forth like that, and I want this strap to be perpendicular to the top of the bag. So I put in 2 pins. Now I'm going to take the other one, the other end, make sure it's not twisted at all. And sometimes you can figure out that it's not twisted when it looks like the collar of a shirt. All right, and I want to center my strap where this is right here, so it's centered on my strap. I'm going to let it fall forward, and I want about the same distance hanging below this seam as the other one. The reason why we're letting it hang below is this is really thick here, and we're going to re-stitch on the bottom here one more time, and I don't want you to have to go through all that thickness. It's going to be difficult. All right, so I want my strap centered, and then I'm going to put in 2 pins to hold the strap, and we do that again. We want this to be perpendicular as it is sitting there, and you can tell if it's perpendicular by putting your seam gauge right at the edge with the slider, and then see if your strap's going straight up. Okay, so 1 more pin, and now that the front straps are set. Okay, now to do the back straps, I'm going to flip my bag over, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find my side seam, and I want to make sure that I have it folded right at the side seam, not like this or not like that. It has to be right at the side seam. And I'm going to put a pin near that to hold that fold right there. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side because we want the straps to be exactly the same. And I could measure, but I have tried that, and sometimes even when I measure, I don't get them exactly the same. So it's easier if I just use the previous ones as the way to line up for this side. All right, so again, I'm going to take my strap, and when I put my strap on, I want to make sure that it's not twisted. I'm going to slide it down inside so it's about the same distance hanging off the bottom, maybe about 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. You want it to be below that extra folding and stitching at the bottom. Put two pins in to hold this so that it's straight. And as I'm laying this down, I'm also checking to make sure it's right on top of that other one, and mine isn't quite, so I'm going to slide it just a tiny bit. Put my 2 pins in, making sure that that strap's nice and straight. And then I'm going to fold down, make sure I have about the right amount at the bottom. Okay, and now it's right on top of that other one. Don't twist it. Slide it down over here, make sure it's right on top of the front strap on this side. Fold down to check to make sure that you've got about the same distance at the bottom, about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch, so that that hem's out of the way. And I'm going to lay this down, make sure it's right on top of that other strap. Use my fingers to hold everything together, and I am going to put this pin in, 2 pins. All right, now as I look at this, my straps should be right on top of one another. My side seams should have been pinned, so I know that these are exactly in the same spot on front and back. If I flip it over and look again, my straps should be in the same spots. I'm going to take the side pins out, but I do need to leave these ones on the front of the straps, because now we're getting ready to sew this upper edge, which will attach the straps at the top, and then we're going to go back and do a special stitch at the bottom to fasten them at the bottom and to give them a little bit more reinforcement.